Yes.
Got it.
And then I
Hello.
send it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can just Google Drive it to me. Okay. All right. So get ready. Okay. Hello. Welcome, Efraín.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm good. A little nervous, but good.
That's good. Well, today we're going to talk about our EPIC Arts program. And you are currently a mentor, an artist mentor for the Green School. I'd like to first have you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your artwork.
Well, hey, my name is Efraín Leal Escalera. My pronouns are he, him, they, them. A little bit about my artwork. I get a lot of insight and inspiration from nature and from the environment and from the organisms that I initially started studying in a scientific perspective, but now I'm incorporating them into my artwork and also use my experiences as a human being and an undocumented person in this country to feed those projects on the art side of my life.
Excellent. And can you tell us a little bit about where you're from?
Certainly. I am originally from Durango, Mexico, which is the northern part of Mexico, semi-arid desert. I've lived in the United States since '96 and in Colorado and Denver since 2002. And yeah, I've been living here since then. That's a little bit about who I am as a human living on this earth.
What inspired you to become an artist?
What inspired me to become an artist? That's a really good question. I think I've always been an artist and inclined towards seeing shapes and textures and colors in nature. And that's where I kind of headed most of my life, towards nature and science. But recently, with my undocumented status, science realm was a little unreachable. So I transitioned more into the art scene and the art practice. So it's been there always, but it's been fairly recent-ish that I kind of went back into it and started to incorporate it more into the work that I do, into the communities that I serve.
And can you tell me a little bit about the communities that you serve? What does that mean or look like to you on a day-to-day basis?
Definitely. I think the communities that I serve are a reflection of definitely of who I am as an individual. I specifically tap into communities that I feel I represent as a person living in the society. So I tap into Spanish speaking communities, the LGBTQ plus communities, and now that I've been tapping more into the art scene, kind of extending out and incorporating other communities that I hadn't really identified myself with, but now I definitely more. So for example, the unhoused communities, and seeing how some of their experiences kind of reflect with mine. Nature, of course, is a big community I represent. Not only nature, but the people that surround themselves with nature and the environment, and their lives in regards to creating positive social change in many interdisciplinary aspects of life. There's art and the environment, art and science, art and communities that have been displaced or not represented enough. So I think those are the communities that I kind of try and represent in the work that I do.
So as an artist, you're participating in the EPIC program and you're working with the Green School. Can you tell us a little bit about your connection with the Green School or the students?
Yes, it's been a lot of fun kind of taking on this role as a mentor with these kids. A lot of these kids, actually, most of the kids come from non-traditional, whatever that means, non-traditional backgrounds, or non, how do I say it? Yeah, a lot of these kids have experienced or are experiencing things that I totally kind of um, see myself reflected in their experiences. A lot of these kids come from different countries, speak different languages, um, have been had their lives have been disrupted fairly recently, with things happening in the world. For example, there's a big Venezuelan community in the Denver Green School, and kind of connecting with them over their immigration into this country and why they left, and having it be still so very fresh in their mind, versus me that I left my country years ago, and looking back into it now with their perspective so fresh in their minds. And then there's also kids from Somalia and from Ethiopia that are, there's also political unrest in those countries, and how having them think about their life experiences, and bringing art into the mix, and using art as a vehicle to create awareness, or to create a narrative, or to share a perspective, has been so fulfilling, and so inspiring to see these kids putting thought and effort and time into a project that hopefully will reflect who they are as human beings.
Interesting. And I also had an opportunity twice now to meet your students and kind of sit and chat with them. And I noticed that there is several interpreters that are in the classroom at different times. For being someone that speaks multiple languages, how do you feel that impacts your ability to communicate, positive or negative?
Wow. Um, Communication and language have been a major um, influence. I mean, in everyone's life, but specifically in mine and in these kids' lives, because as I said, I kind of see myself reflected in them, and seeing the struggles some kids go through because of language barriers or communication barriers, and seeing that there's now a movement to create more awareness, more inclusion towards people that, in this case, these kids that don't speak the English language, which is not the official language of the United States. Um, it's been honestly, like I keep saying, eye-opening, going into the environment of the schools, and thinking about my own nephews and niece, and how they have to navigate kind of this multilingual world, because at home they speak Spanish, and at school they speak English. And then, for example, kids like me that come from a different country, they have to learn cultures, and assimilate to languages and to different modes of living. It's definitely important for them to be able to um, make artwork, make decisions, make impacts, make choices, make do do honestly, having that opportunity to have someone that is able to communicate with them in their own language, definitely makes a change. Just me being there with some of these kids, like from the kids that come from Venezuela, speaking to them in their language, and seeing how their faces change when you communicate with them in that language, and seeing that they are being a part of something big, and there's someone there that's talking to them in their language, um, has been, I hope it's been as impactful as it has been for me, for these kids. So it's been definitely necessary to show that there's that importance, or yeah, show the importance of being able to communicate with the world. And sometimes it can be nonverbal, as with the case with Epic. We're creating an art piece, and it not necessarily won't have words, but the communication aspect of it has, hopefully, will make an impact into the visitors that come into RedLine.
And that's interesting because art is being used here as a vehicle, as a voice.
Definitely, exactly right. And voice can take in so many different ways. It can a voice can be an actual voice, from your body. A voice can be an art piece. A voice can be a recording. A voice can be an image. A voice can be constructed out of clay. A voice can be so many things, and it's really important to show these kids that their voice, no matter what language they speak, is important, and their voice is outside of the traditional definition of what a voice is, can take in so many different forms.
Mm, right. And so, having so many different voices, what's been the greatest challenge and greatest success in communication?
Oh my God, with kids, I think, speaking of voices, they have voices, of course. And I have middle school age kids, so it's been, some kids are a little more focused than others. But it's been a good kind of challenge where I am kind of training myself for when my nephew hits that age, when he's going to be 13 or 14. So it's been a good challenge, but it's also been a challenge in the way that there's so many kids, and kind of being able to find a way to listen to all of them and listen to their perspectives and to their ideas and to their projects, and making them feel like they're being listened to, has been kind of sometimes a little challenging, because of course there's some kids that are a little more assertive than others. And me being when I was little, being the introverted, shy kid and quiet, I kind of go towards those kids and want to make them feel more included, and asking them more questions, and asking them what they think and what they feel and what they see with the project. I think that's been the challenge, but also the inspiration, and making them feel welcome, and having someone in the classroom. Like, I never had someone like myself in the classroom, so
Neither did I.
yeah.
Well, maybe sixth grade science.
Right, and it's just like, I hope they're going away with something with me being there, especially the quieter kids, the kids that are shy and that are not as assertive, or as with a big personality. I want them to know that even they can have something to say, and that they are being listened to.
Excellent. And can you break down a little bit how the EPIC process has been for you from start to finish?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Epic, with the Epic program, and with the art mentoring program at RedLine, now for a little over a year. So I had experience, well, not direct experience, last year, and kind of seeing the process, and seeing it from start to finish, and seeing the artwork finally installed in the space, and having people come in and seeing it, and feeling, and going home with a thought, or with an image, myself. There's these kids, some of these kids go through a lot, and it shows in the artwork. There's one specific one from last year, where it was kids in cage, like little dolls in cages, that represented the kids over in the border, that are coming from Central America. And that just kind of stuck with me, and thinking about that, and thinking about what impact a program like this has in a kid's life, and in the people that the art touches, has been giving me a lot of food for thought. But the process itself, I really, really appreciate it now more, I think, than before. I think the team, I really, really like the team. You guys are bringing a lot of hospitality and a lot of willingness to include others, and a lot of opportunity to be open for questions, and yeah, it's been different. It's been I keep thinking about it because I experienced it before and I experience it now, and um yeah, the humanistic approach, I can totally see it, and not that it wasn't there before, but I see it clearly with the three of you guys, and how you guys feed off of each other, and I like the options that you have given us versus virtual versus in person, and being respectful of those things, and having us be able to what can I say? How can I say this?
So like autonomy, or your, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Even though we work closely,
Mhm.
um, you haven't been like nagging or like, what are you doing? Um, but I do appreciate the effort to include these schools and to have them come into the center, and making a space for them, and creating activities, um, and including these kids in, because I went for the group for the field trip recently, and seeing the activities that you guys had set up for them, and um, yeah, it's been and showing them what artists are doing in regards to social change, and how they're doing it, and making it approachable and easy to see and easy to notice, like with the protest posters with Shawnee. I love that idea. I really, really did. It kind of it yeah, it gave me so much, as to seeing how official um, programmers are doing the thing. So that's been and seeing and noticing the effort that you guys are doing, and Shawnee's doing with the art mentoring, and um, yeah, it's been really, 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 really good. It's been really cool. Um, the only thing probably is going to be the but this is not nothing that Redline or the Epic program can do. It's just it's time in school. Schools need to be a little bit better about that, and allowing a little more time for projects like this. But yeah, it's been a very good introduction into mentoring, into making impact into the kids from my community.
Fantastic. And the Green School came to us through Redline as an introductory, or an introduction to social justice and our programs. And they are a new school for EPIC, our EPIC program. And in a couple words, what could you say? So if I said EPIC is, what would you say EPIC is?
Epic is an opportunity for members of the community, be it adults, be it kids, that want to make, create, do, change, stir up um, narratives that have kind of been not kind of have been narratives that are important to bring to the forefront of kids' lives, and using art as a way to do it, specifically with kids. Kids are innate artists. They're born artists, and it's just kind of society that kind of beats out the artist in us. So kind of bringing these things back. That's what art. That's what Epic is. Bringing bringing issues and stories and narratives and combining them with art and having community members engage with community members to make a change.
Thank you, Efrain. Do you have any, let's see, do you have any insight on what your project with your students will look like?
Yes, so we are working on mental health and the components of mental health and what that looks like. And there's a couple of different projects with the kids are working on. We have a large group. We have about 60-ish students in 2 different classes, 7th and 8th graders mixed in the 2 classrooms. And we decided to go with mental health since that's where this pandemic has kind of taken us, and focusing on our mental health and taking care of ourselves and what aspects of life in the world are impacting our mental health. So there's a couple of groups working on pollution and how that affects mental health. There's a few kids working on self-reflection, and there's a few kids working on political unrest and how that ties into mental health. There's a few kids working on pollution, well, as I said, on pollution and how that further affects the mental health of people that are unhoused in their communities. There's kids that are working on, let me see, what else? There's a couple of one group of kids that are working. So this group of kids has one kid from Venezuela, one from Somalia, and one from Ethiopia. And they're kind of working on making 3 different versions of political unrest in their country and how that has impacted the mental health of themselves and their family, and therefore kind of like the community aspect of it. So there's a lot to get from mental health topic, and hopefully these kids are really digging into how that reflects into their life.
Yeah, and then the challenge is to bring all those pieces together, right?
Yes. Yes, we were just talking about that yesterday, me and Deb, the teacher, and we're like, okay, we have to find a way how we can tie this in together, and that's going to be a little bit of the challenge, but I think we can do it, because it's all, I mean, in mental health, it's all interconnected one way or another, and that's going to be a little bit of the challenge, but I think we can overcome it. I think we're doing really good despite the time crunch, but we're doing good.
Good. Yeah, I would say that's, a good challenge for all in thinking about how we interconnect all of these thoughts within our mental health and what it does to us. I think that's exactly what we're looking for, to discuss. So anything else you'd like to add? You did mention we should very much talk about the collaboration with the teacher at the Green School. And, the idea is that an artist comes in to a classroom during the regular day. This is not an after school program, but this is during their class experience. And, how does you're almost disrupting the traditional pedagogy. How does it feel being a change maker?
That's something that Deb has been bringing up a lot. She's been telling me that it's really cool to have someone come in, because the kids at a certain point, they see the same teacher almost on a constant daily basis, and at some points, I guess it does, and I can imagine it feeling like that the kids kind of at some point just don't want to listen anymore, and they're just kind of in their own little world. So as you just said, coming in and disrupting that norm, and kind of also learning from the teacher herself and how she manages the kids and how she structures the classroom has been super insightful for me as an aspiring educator. But I think I've also, based on what she's told me, she has really appreciated me being in there and having someone else for the kids to listen to and to get narrative and feedback from. So that dynamic of having someone that's there on a constant basis versus someone that's coming in new and helping in a project and kind of hyping up the project and giving them ideas and giving them suggestions, but always keeping in the forefront that it's them that are kind of the drivers, and they are the ones that are going to be the creators and the makers. That's a constant, like okay, I gotta, like, okay, step back. This is a project that they're going to be the owners of, and they're the drivers, and just kind of keeping that in perspective has been a little bit difficult. But it's been not that difficult because these kids have so much in their minds and so many cool ideas, and it's just a matter of asking them and being persistent about different questions and different angles and different perspectives, and just being curious about how their brains work. And then once they get comfortable, they will just get into it. And then when you see them partnering with their co-students and just talking and not being disruptive, that is awesome. That is just really cool. And having them have the stuff out and like piecing it together, and they're like, so what do you think about this, and what do you think about that, and what if we do this, and but what if we hang it upside down? And
Yeah.
yeah, that's been really cool. And Deb has been awesome at giving me that opportunity and that freedom to kind of just roam around with the kids and ask them questions, because half of the time she's with them by herself, and then the other half I'm there with her. So I guess in a way, we're kind of, the days I'm not there, she kind of picks their brains and sees how they react versus to when I'm there. And that's been kind of I don't know what the word is, like it's been balancing. It's been
Yeah.
balancing. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good collaboration. Very good.
It's an
Yeah.
awesome guy. And Deb is awesome. She's so cool, and she's such an awesome artist, and she's so ready for the project. And I'm so happy that that Denver Green School kind of reached out and be like, we want to be part of this.
Absolutely. We are definitely happy to have them. And I'm so glad we were able to partner you as an artist with the Green School, because everyone wanted to work with you, Efrain. And, I had to, I had to narrow it down. And I think you made a good fit with the Green School. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, that makes me feel so cool yeah, thank you.
Fire, yes, many. That's good. Great. All right. Well, our exhibition for Epic will be held in May, and will be posted on the website, on our Facebook, and as many social media outlets that make sense. And I'm looking forward to seeing what your students and with your mentorship come up with, and thinking about social justice and social change and social engagement, right? Just that back and forth communication aspect, I think, is so important this age and development for artists and for students, and for, we as artists and mentors. I think that's cycling of knowledge and experience is so important to this program.
Very much so. Exchanging information is very important between communities.
Yes. So thank you, Efrain.
Thank you. Thanks for the space and for the opportunity. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Okay, you can stop the recording.